Hey everybody, sorry for the slightly late start. Here we are in week 3 of social distancing story time. I have some big news. I got a tripod. I invested in a $12 tripod, so hopefully we will have fewer problems with the camera falling down, etc. Maybe I will try and increase the technical difficulty of the book reading so that the pages aren't reversed, but maybe I won't, because I am sneaking away in the middle of work to do these. So TBD if there will be heavier editing involved in the future. I'm gonna save this one for if the kids actually pay attention to me. All right, so let's start today. Oh, Reading Rainbow. I know I'm no LeVar Burton, but he's kind of my idol. This is Caps for Sale by Esphyr, Slobodkina. Anyway, I remember seeing this book on Reading Rainbow when I was a kid, and it was one of my favorites. And we got this book and added it to our fabulous at-home library when Stasha was obsessed with hats. She went through a phase from like age 2 to 3 where she just really loved headwear. So here we go. Caps for Sale. A tale of a peddler, some monkeys, and their monkey business. Once there was a peddler who sold caps, but he was not like an ordinary peddler carrying his wares on his back. He carried them on top of his head. First, he had on his own checked cap, then a bunch of gray caps, then a bunch of brown caps, then a bunch of blue caps, and on the very top, a bunch of red caps. He walked up and down the streets, holding himself very straight so as not to upset his caps. As he went along, he called, "Caps! Caps for sale! 50 cents a cap!" One morning, he couldn't sell any caps. He walked up the street and he walked down the street, calling, "Caps! Caps for sale! 50 cents a cap!" But nobody wanted any caps that morning. Nobody wanted even a red cap. He began to feel very hungry, but he had no money for lunch. "I think I'll go for a walk in the country," said he. And he walked out of town slowly, so as not to upset his caps. He walked for a long time until he came to a great big tree. "That's a nice place for a rest," thought he. And he sat down very slowly under the tree and leaned back little by little against the tree trunk so as not to disturb the caps on his head. Then he put up his hand to feel if they were straight. First his own checked cap, then the gray caps, then the brown caps, then the blue caps, then the red caps on the very top. They were all there, so he went to sleep. He slept for a long time. When he woke up, he was refreshed and rested. But before standing up, he felt with his hand to make sure his caps were in the right place. All he felt was his own checked cap. He looked to the right of him, no caps. He looked to the left of him, no caps. He looked in back of him, no caps. He looked behind the tree, no caps. Then he looked up into the tree, and what do you think he saw? On every branch sat a monkey. On every monkey was a gray or brown or blue or red cap. The peddler looked at the monkeys. The monkeys looked at the peddler. He didn't know what to do. Finally, he spoke to them. "You monkeys, you," he said, shaking a finger at them, "you give me back my caps." But the monkeys only shook their fingers back at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss." This made the peddler angry, so he shook both hands at them and said, "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." But the monkeys only shook both their hands back at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss." Now he felt quite angry. He stamped his foot. He said, "You monkeys, you better give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stamped their feet back at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss." By this time, the peddler was really very, very angry. He stamped both his feet and shouted, "You monkeys, you must give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stamped both their feet back at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss." At last, he became so angry that he pulled off his own cap, threw it on the ground, and began to walk away. But then each monkey pulled off his cap. What do you think is going to happen? And all the gray caps, and all the brown caps, and all the blue caps, and all the red caps came flying down out of the tree. So, the peddler picked up his caps and put them back on his head. First his own checked cap, then the gray caps, then the brown caps, then the blue caps, then the red caps on the very top. And slowly, slowly, he walked back to town calling, "Caps! Caps for sale! 50 cents a cap!" And that's all there is. All right, now we've got Bunny's Book Club by Annie Silvestro, illustrated by Tatjana Mai-Wyss. And as you can tell, this is a new book in our house because it still has a book jacket on it that Eve hasn't ripped off in disgust or just ripped. Bunny loved books. Say hello, Bunny. He'd loved them ever since he first heard the lady with the red glasses reading aloud outside the library. Geez, of all the days that I wore my green glasses, not my red ones. As he listened, Bunny imagined himself climbing mountains, captaining a ship, ruling a kingdom. But when summer ended, story time moved back inside. Bunny wasn't sure if animals were allowed in the library, but Bunny was sure he couldn't live without books. He had to do something. Night after night, he could hardly sleep for wishing. So with a flashlight in his paws and hope in his heart, Bunny jumped out of bed and tiptoed through the dark. But when he reached the library door, it was locked. So were the windows. Bunny tried digging, climbing, yanking. Nothing worked. Until finally he noticed, what do you think it is? The book return. The shiny handle was far above his head, but it was no match for a high-hopping bunny hungry for books. Bunny leapt. He clung to the bar, flung himself over, and wriggled his cottontail through the slot. He landed inside with a thud. Bunny's eyes sparkled at the sight of the shelves, bursting with books. It was better than a field full of fresh, crunchy carrots. Bunny didn't know where to start. He took a deep breath. It smelled as if he were wrapped inside the pages of his favorite book. He followed his nose to the adventure section. There he found stories about swashbucklers, sharks, and superheroes. Bunny greedily grabbed them all. His whiskers twitching with excitement, he slipped his treasures through the book slot one by one. Then, performing his best balancing act, Bunny wobbled home. He couldn't wait to dig in. And so, Bunny returned to the library each night. He searched and sneaked, then scurried back to read. Soon his home was more books than burrow. Then one evening a loud knock startled Bunny. He closed his book and opened the door. "Where have you been?" asked Porcupine. "Reading," said Bunny. "Why?" said Porcupine. Bunny's eyes popped wide open. "Why?" he sputtered. "Have you ever been to the library?" It was time for Bunny to let Porcupine in on his secret. "Are you sure this is a good idea?" said Porcupine. "Calm your quills," said Bunny. "I'm too prickly. I'll never fit." Bunny pushed and shoved until pop went Porcupine. Bunny slipped in and flipped on his flashlight. "Whoa," said Porcupine. "I know," said Bunny. "Do you think there's a story about balloons? I've always wondered about balloons." "Most definitely," said Bunny. Sure enough, Porcupine found books on balloons. and on deserts and dunes, on caterpillars and cocoons. When Bunny handed him one about the hedgehogs, he hugged it. The two friends took turns cramming books out the slot. Their towers teetered so high they could barely carry them. Back at Bunny's, they cozied up with cups of tea and carrot muffins. Together they read until sunrise. One night, Bear noticed the light on at Bunny's. He opened the door and tripped over a stack of books. "What's going on?" said Bear. "Here," said Bunny, handing him a book. Bear made room and settled in to read. Soon, more curious animals began visiting. "Do you have any books about outer space?" said Bird. "Or about volcanoes?" asked Mole. "I'd like a ghost story," said Mouse. "I think it's time for a field trip," said Bunny. One by one, the animals stuffed themselves inside the library. Bear caused a bit of a delay. They scattered about, sniffing the stacks, pawing over pages. Come here, little bud. Come here.
Yeah, sit on my lap.
Squirrel gathered stories about the circus. Raccoon nabbed one about outlaws and bandits. And Frog found a fairy tale.
What?
No one heard the key in the front door. No one heard the clack, clack, clacking of footsteps. No one heard the light flick on.
Why did no one?
"What do we have here?" said the librarian. The animals looked up in shock. Bunny gasped. Porcupine gaped. Bear groaned. "Follow me," she said.
Bear. Bears don't have ears, right?
"Bears do have ears. What are you talking about?"
Yes, they do.
The animals marched slowly behind her. "We're done for," whispered Porcupine. "All libraries have rules," said the librarian sternly. Bunny's whiskers trembled. Porcupine's back bristled. Bear eyed the door. Bunny stepped forward to take the blame. The librarian leaned down. "The first rule is, every book lover must have one of these," she said. She handed Bunny and his friends shiny new library cards. "Now you may borrow books," she said, smiling, "as long as you return them, of course." Bunny couldn't believe his ears. They could keep coming to the library. He beamed at his fellow readers, then bounced to the shelves. He picked the perfect book, and he proudly checked out the very first official selection for Bunny's Book Club.
And Porcupine.
Yeah, Porcupine's in the club. Well, hold on, Evie. I had a special book picked out, because what's coming soon? Stasha, you want to come and bring me the special book?
Easter.
Not this one. We're going to leave those there. Yep, Easter's coming. Here, Eve, you want to sit with me or you want to sit on the couch?
This book.
We'll do this after. Okay, perfect. Hey, Stasha, are you wearing anything special because Easter's coming soon? Mm-hmm.
I want to take this off.
You're not going to take your clothes off. And Evie has a special bunny dress on today, right?
No.
Do you have a bunny dress on?
No, I want to take my sweater,
Well,
my
not-
dress off.
No, we're not going to take your
just-
dress off. Evie?
No, just for
Hey.
a minute. I'm hot.
Hey, bud, you can do it when you take a nap, but right now we're going
I'm
to...
hot.
Hey, Evie. This is called story time, not Evie naked run around time. Okay. So what are we going to read now? What's this special book about? The Easter Egg by Jan Brett. Okay. This book is very well loved at this house. It has some ripped pages. Don't judge.
Why does it have some whipped cream?
Because we read it a lot, don't we? Whether it's Easter or not, we read this book a lot. Cheer up, spring is here. Time to start on my first ever Easter egg, Hoppy said. Each year, the bunny who decorated the winning egg got to help the Easter rabbit hide the eggs on Easter morning. Here, Evie, why don't you go sit over on the couch so I can put this a little bit closer?
I don't want it.
Because the pictures are so awesome. We want everyone to get to see the pictures.
I can see the pictures.
You can see it okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Hoppy had been dreaming about being that bunny all year long. Now it was time to get started. Everywhere Hoppy looked, rabbits were working on dazzling eggs. I need an amazing idea, he thought. Hoppy spotted Flora Bunny planting spring wildflowers in her eggs. The Easter rabbit will love those colorful flowers, he thought, and started picking flowers for his own egg. Here's a basket for your flowers, Hoppy, Flora said. Chop, chop, scrape, scrape. Hoppy spied Buster Birch carving a magnificent wooden egg. I wish I had some wood for my egg, he wished out loud. Here you go, Hoppy, Buster Birch said, and he put a smooth, round piece of wood in Hoppy's basket. Thank you, Buster, Hoppy said. Hoppy was hopping along when the smell of sweetness led him out of the woods and straight to the chocolate egg that Aunt Sassafras was decorating with creamy frosting squiggles and bows.
That's not how the book goes on this page. It goes on our page.
Well, that's how the book goes. Come on, sit back so I can see.
Not on this page.
Yeah.
Not on this
Okay,
page.
hello, Hoppy, she said, and she put some chocolate squares in his basket. Hippity hop, Hoppy exclaimed. I'll make the Easter rabbit a chocolate egg so sweet it will make his whiskers tingle. Then Hoppy saw Granny Irene decorating one of her fabulous story eggs. First, she traced a design on the egg with a special tool. Then she dipped the egg in pots of yellow, green, orange, and red dye, adding to the design each time. Hoppy couldn't believe his eyes. I'll never make an egg that beautiful, he told Granny Irene. She smiled. Try, she said, giving him one of her special tools. Hoppy was hopping by Hans Vander Rabbit's garden when he spotted an extraordinary egg. Hans was painting a portrait of the Easter rabbit so real that he looked alive. Fantastic, Hoppy exclaimed. Thank you, Hoppy, Hans said. Why don't you make a painting on your egg? He gave Hoppy pots of paint and a fine brush. As Hoppy bounced along, a loud boing nearly knocked him off of his feet. It was a whirling, twirling mechanical egg. Whoa, Hoppy said. That's an unusual egg. Would you like to make one? Roberto asked. Hoppy tried hard, but the harder he tried, the more parts and pieces piled up around him. Thank you, Roberto, he sighed, but I think I better make the egg that's right for me. Hoppy hopped back to the woods and lay down under a tall tree to think. Making a beautiful egg is harder than I imagined, he thought. I guess I don't have to win. I just want to make an egg I'm proud of. Suddenly the woods rang with the squawking of birds sounding an alarm. Mother Robin swooped down, calling wildly, as if she couldn't decide where to go. An egg had tumbled out of Mother Robin's nest. Inside the perfect blue egg was a baby robin that needed its mother to keep it warm until it hatched. Oh no. Hoppy knew what he had to do. He sat down carefully and covered the blue egg with his soft, warm fur. I'll take care of you the best I can, he whispered. Relieved, Mother Robin chirped and settled down on her other two eggs. Hoppy never left the robin's egg. If it was sunny and warm, he carefully turned the egg in its nest of moss. If it was rainy and cold, he kept the egg covered and dry. At night, wild animals passed. Hoppy crouched down and stayed hidden in the ferns. Often he heard strange noises coming from above. But Hoppy didn't run away.
Well, it was the owl.
It might have been an owl. Every day, the rabbits worked on their eggs. Tadpoles turned into frogs. Buds swelled into leaves, and Easter came closer and closer. Finally, it was time for the rabbits to take their eggs to the glen. They had forgotten all about Hoppy, who was quietly sitting on the blue egg under the tall tree in the woods. Stasha, can you help me with this page? Come here. Early the next morning... other side. Go stand on the other side. Ah, there you go. Hold on. Hold on.
And then
Hold on.
this
I'll hand it to you. Okay, hold on. I'll hand it to you. I gotta read it. Okay.
No, it was my
Okay,
page.
hold on. Early the next morning, the rabbits waited
my
for the
page,
Easter rabbit.
okay?
Okay, suddenly a...
No, it's telling my sister.
Okay,
Stasha.
suddenly a beautiful
It's
wagon...
mine, okay?
Okay, rolled toward them out of the
No,
mist.
I was down
Okay,
in my
Eve, you're okay. Okay.
That-
And stopped.
That's my page.
The Easter bunny...
My
Evie, let's calm down. The Easter bunny stepped from the wagon and admired the decorated eggs one by one. Evie, you can help me fold it back in, okay? Okay, well, you need to quiet down, sweetheart. You have brought me the most... Okay, Eve, I'm going to have to ask you to move. Are you okay? Why don't you go hold that page now then. Stasha's gone. You hold it, okay? All right. Okay, so the wagon stops. The Easter Bunny climbs down. And he says, "You have brought me the most beautiful eggs in the world, but a very special one is not here," he told them. The rabbits were puzzled. Whose egg could it be? Whose egg do you think it is?
Hoppy.
Is it Hoppy's? It wasn't mean, honey. Evie, honey, you can help me next, okay? Fill my wagon with your wonderful eggs, he said. When I return, I will show it to you. And he disappeared into the woods. He came back with Hoppy looking scruffy and bedraggled. Evie, honey? Okay, Eve, show us where the egg is. Where's the special Easter egg? Hoppy has an amazing egg to be proud of, the Easter rabbit told him. He has kept Mother Robin's... Okay. He has kept Mother Robin's egg warm and safe until her baby bird hatched, and she could take care of it. The Easter rabbit placed the empty blue shell in the place of honor atop the wagon. Now they were ready to go. Evie, honey, you're going to have to leave the room if you can't calm down.
I can't come down.
Okay, but I don't think the people want to hear you screaming. See, all of our friends are watching. Say hi.
Christy's watching.
Yeah, they're watching you. The rabbits cheered for the egg that had surprised them all. "It's our best Easter ever, Hoppy," they shouted. Then the brave little bunny and the Easter rabbit rode off together to hide the eggs for girls and boys to find on Easter morning. Okay, Evie, should we read the book you picked now? It's right here. Oh, and this one miraculously has a book jacket on it, but it's a little worse for wear. Is this another favorite book? Do we read this one a lot? Everybody's favorite Robert McCloskey, Blueberries for Sal. Do you guys like blueberries? Do you like blueberries, Evie?
No.
You don't? Oh. Do you like blueberries, Stasha? Mm-hmm. I think your sister does too, when she's not talking.
I don't like it.
You don't like it, okay. My mistake. One day, little Sal went with her mother to Blueberry Hill to pick blueberries. Little Sal brought along her small tin pail, and her mother brought her large tin pail to put berries in. "We will take our berries home and can them," said her mother. "Then we will have food for the winter." Little Sal picked 3 berries and dropped them in her little tin pail. Ka-plink, ka-plank, ka-plunk. She picked 3 more berries and ate them. Then she picked more berries and dropped 1 in the pail. Ka-plunk. And then the rest she ate. Then little Sal ate all 4 berries out of her pail. She's not doing a very good job collecting them, is she? Her mother walked slowly through the bushes, picking blueberries as she went and putting them in her pail. Little Sal struggled along behind, picking blueberries and eating every single one. Little Sal hurried ahead and dropped a blueberry in her mother's pail. It didn't sound ka-plink, because the bottom of the pail was already covered with berries. She reached down inside to get her berry back. Though she really didn't mean to, she pulled out a large handful because there were so many blueberries right up close to the one she had put in. Her mother stopped picking and said, "Now, Sal, you run along and pick your own berries. Mother wants to take her berries and can them for next winter." Her mother went back to her picking, but little Sal, because her feet were tired of standing and walking, sat down in the middle of a large clump of bushes and ate blueberries. On the other side of Blueberry Hill, Little Bear came with his mother to eat blueberries. "Little Bear," she said, "eat lots of berries and grow big and fat. We must store up food for the long, cold winter." Little Bear followed behind his mother as she walked slowly through the bushes eating berries. Little Bear stopped now and then to eat berries. Then he had to hustle along to catch up. because his feet were tired of hustling, he picked out a large clump of bushes and sat right down in the middle and ate blueberries. Over on the other side of the hill, little Sal ate all of the berries she could reach from where she was sitting, and she started out to find her mother. She heard a noise from around a rock and thought, "That's my mother walking along." But it was a mother crow and her children, and they stopped eating berries and flew away, saying, "Caw, caw, caw." Then she heard another noise in the bushes and thought, "Oh, that is surely my mother. I will go that way." But it was little Bear's mother instead. She was tramping along, eating berries, and thinking about storing up food for the winter. Little Sal tramped right along behind. By this time, Little Bear had eaten all the berries he could reach without moving from his clump of bushes. Then he hustled off to catch up with his mother. He hunted and hunted, but his mother was nowhere to be seen. He heard a noise from over a stump and thought, "That's my mother walking along." But it was a mother partridge and her children. They stopped eating berries and hurried away. Then he heard a noise in the bushes and thought, "That is surely my mother. I will hustle that way." But it was little Sal's mother instead. She was walking along, picking berries and thinking about canning them for next winter. Little Bear hustled right along behind. Little Bear and little Sal's mother and little Sal and little Bear's mother were all mixed up with each other among the blueberries on Blueberry Hill. Little Bear's mother heard Sal walking along behind and thought it was Little Bear, and she said, "Little Bear, munch, munch, eat all you can possibly hold, swallow." Little Sal said nothing. She picked 3 berries and dropped them, ka-plink, ka-plank, ka-plunk, in her small tin pail. Little Bear's mother turned around to see what on earth could make a noise like ka-plunk. "Grumph!" she cried, choking on a mouthful of berries. "This is not my child. Where's Little Bear?" She took one good look and backed away. She was old enough to be shy of people, even a very small person like little Sal. Then she turned around and walked off very fast to hunt for Little Bear. Little Sal's mother heard Little Bear tramping along behind and thought it was little Sal. She kept right on picking and thinking about canning blueberries for next winter. Little Bear padded up and peeked into her pail. Of course, he only wanted to taste a few of what was inside, but there were so many, and they were so close together that he tasted a tremendous mouthful by mistake. "Now, Sal," said little Sal's mother without turning around, "you run along and pick your own berries. Mother wants to can these for next winter." Little Bear tasted another tremendous mouthful and almost spilled the entire pail of blueberries. Little Sal's mother turned around and gasped, "My goodness, you are not little Sal! Where is my child?" Little Bear sat munching and swallowing and licking his lips. Little Sal's mother slowly backed away. She was old enough to be shy of bears, even very small bears like Little Bear. Then she turned and walked away quickly to look for little Sal. She hadn't gone very far before she heard a ka-plink, ka-plank, ka-plunk. She knew just what made that kind of noise. Little Bear's mother had not hunted very long before she heard a hustling sound that stopped now and then to munch and swallow. She knew just what made that kind of noise. Little Bear and his mother went home down one side of Blueberry Hill, eating blueberries all the way and full of food stored up for next winter. And little Sal and her mother went down the other side of Blueberry Hill, picking berries all the way, and drove home with food to can for next winter, a whole pail of blueberries and 3 more besides. Do we like to pick blueberries? Do we do it in our yard, though? Mm-hmm. And I haven't had any run-ins with bears, right? Whoop! Amazing, you were still able to knock it over, even though it's on a tripod. Evie, not those books, honey. Let's just be careful. Right here. Let's get Love Triangle, okay?
No, I want this one.
Okay, let's pick that one. That's a good one. Okay.
And then can we do this book?
Nope, we're not going to do any of the ones in the other pile. Okay, we've just got a few piled up here because we only have a little bit of time to read the books. Okay. Sorry for my hand, everybody. Okay. This one is Waiting by Kevin Henkes. Whoop, you okay? Little poke?
No, when we're done with this book. When we're done with this triangle book.
That won't be done. There were 5 of them, and they were waiting. Evie, can you help me count them?
No.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They were waiting. The owl with spots was waiting for the moon. The pig with the umbrella was waiting for the rain. The bear with the kite was waiting for the wind. The puppy on the sled was waiting for the snow. The rabbit with stars wasn't waiting for anything in particular. He just liked to look out the window and wait. When the moon came up, the owl was happy. It happened a lot. When the rain came down, the pig was happy. The umbrella kept her dry. When the wind blew, the bear was happy. The kite flew high and far. When it finally snowed, the puppy was happy. He'd waited a very long time. The rabbit was happy just looking out the window. Sometimes one or the other of them went away, but he or she always came back. Sometimes they slept, but mostly they waited. Sometimes gifts appeared. Oh, what do they have?
Shell, acorn, rock.
Maybe a marble. Once a visitor arrived from far away. He stayed a while, but then he left and never returned. Why didn't he come back?
Because he broke.
He broke.
What did he weigh?
I guess he was made out of china. They saw many wonderful, interesting things.
But why do you think he broke?
Well, because that's glass and it cracks if it falls. What do they see? What do they see?
Rainbow.
A rainbow?
Why does it crack?
I don't know.
Why does it crack?
I don't know. I guess that's what it was made out of. Hey, Evie, what is this in this picture?
Lightning.
Did we have lightning last night?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was thunder that made the whole house shake. Oh,
Did you hear it?
what else? What are those?
Icicles.
Icicles. And what are those?
Fireworks.
Fireworks. When do you think they might have been looking at fireworks? The 4th of July? Yeah. And of course, there was always the moon and the rain and the wind and the snow to keep them happy. One day, a cat with patches joined them. Was she waiting for the moon? No. Was she waiting for the rain? No. Was she waiting for the wind? No. Was she waiting for the snow? No. She didn't seem to be waiting for anything in particular. Oh, but she was. Is that a little nesting doll? Mm-hmm.
Is the nesting doll glass?
I don't think so. I think she's wood. They're usually made out of wood. Now, there were 10 of them, and they were happy together.
Can I go out the back?
No, thank you. Waiting to see what would happen next. Oh, what's happening out the window now?
I don't know.
What is it? Can you see?
Butterfly.
Butterflies. Okay, Evie, can you get me the last book?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What is it? What is it?
It's right here.
The monkey.
It's a red one. What book is this?
I don't want it.
This is the one we're going to read, though. Can I have it?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm going to take it.
No.
Evie, I need you to hand it to me, please.
No.
You can help me with it. Come on. Okay. Love triangle. Where are you going to sit? You want to see the pictures?
I can see it right here.
I don't think you can. It's going to be facing this way. Stasha's going to be able to see the pictures.
I can see them now.
You think so? Yeah. Wait a second. Is that the right way to read that book? That's not the right way to read the book. The book jacket was on upside down. Holy guacamole. All right, well, we'll read the book jacket first and then we'll flip it. So, Love Triangle by Marcie, Colleen, and Bob Shea. Let's try it this way. Let's see if this way works. Oh, that's better. Love Triangle. Gotta be careful, Evie. I don't want you flipping over the back of the chair, honey. You gotta come down. Ever since they were a dot and a speck, Circle and Square's friendship had a shape of its own.
Mommy, can I sleep on your shoulder?
Square was a bookworm, while Circle liked to bounce into the action. Circle admired Square for all his good points. Point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4. Square...
Mom,
Yeah.
can I sleep on your back?
Sure. Square loved that his best friend really knew how to rock and roll. Get it? Because he's a circle, so he can roll. Until a wedge came between them, because it's a triangle. Well, not really a wedge, more like a bold and exciting triangle. At first, small things changed, like lunch. Want to share my grilled cheese? No, thank you. Suddenly I'm craving pizza. And at the library, a new book about basketball. Where are the books on the Egyptian pyramids? Then bigger things. You look so small way down there, Circle. Is Square hang gliding with Triangle?
Yeah.
What's the matter, sweet girl? You want to be really tall? Well, then try and stand up. I am going to ace this test. Triangle, you're the perfect study buddy. I thought never mind. Everything seemed to become triangular. Triangle is so fast, he can dart quicker than anyone I know. Triangle is so sharp, you gotta hold on. He's gonna help me with my next project. Triangle said he soared higher than the birds. Triangle said these are the kind of shorts they wear in Bermuda. Hey guys, do you want to play double dutch? I will. No, I will.
No, I will.
Why don't you ask your best friend? Why don't you ask your best friend?
You are your best friend.
Circle and Square's friendship was bent out of shape. Triangle decided something needed to be done. Dear Circle, would you like to come over to my house on Saturday? Love, Triangle. Meanwhile, Square received something special of his own.
But if I'm not fun, then I won't see the page.
Well, then why don't you come sit over here?
No.
Dear Square, would you like to come over to my house on Saturday? Love, Triangle. Come Saturday, they both showed up on Triangle's doorstep. Wait, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? Needless to say, it was awkward. Much like how I'm currently sitting with a child on my head trying to read. Awkward. Circle and Square stayed glued to Triangle's sides. Grilled cheese, anyone?
Look,
I brought my party hat.
I got my bun soda.
You did. Square blocked Circle. Circle blocked Square. Put your foot here so you don't fall. Square pulled Triangle one way. Circle pulled Triangle the other way. Until, try not to pull me one way and the other, okay? Everything became pointless. Get it? There's no point. Triangle's straight. Look at what you did. Look at what you did.
No.
Triangle couldn't take it any longer. I've had it up to my apex. You both crossed the line.
You're making me explain far.
Well, okay. Be careful, sweetheart. Circle and Square panicked. Circle grabbed one end of Triangle and raced around and around, but succeeded only in making a mess. Square tried a different angle, but it was no use. Oh yeah, it definitely helps me read when you put your fingers on my glasses. No, that was a joke, Eve. Don't do it. They couldn't just leave Triangle like that. Square buried his nose in research. Circle practiced his moves. And then... I have an idea! Puff! Circle, you did it! It was really your idea. Bonk! I think we make quite a trio. Evie, please be careful, sweetheart. From that day forward, Circle, Square, and Triangle's friendship took on a shape of its own. We survived, you guys. We finished the book and she didn't fall off. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Can we watch it?
We can, but Stasha, you want to say bye? Thanks for tuning in to everybody?
Bye.